Hello, Scott here. So this is just a video of weird glitches, bugs and other encounters in the We Happy Few pre-alpha. The first one is getting stuck in the scenery, and there are two instances of this. Okay, so here I am confronting a wastrel.
Bananas.
I pacify the
Yes,
situation
bananas and porcupines.
and walk down
Very
to do
pointy
some rather
porcupines.
foolish looting. The reward's not really worth it, and it starts a violent confrontation with these wastrels. Okay, so I'll take a bit of a beating, and I decide to flee.
Haunted gardenias.
Corner, and
Haunted
then still
petunias.
successfully tailing me, so I decide to confront them. Okay, so a bit more of a beating, but eventually I win the fight. Yep, second one's gone down, and I pick up the branch they were holding.
Pace yourself, Arthur.
Then I'll loot the bodies.
Sorry to bother.
Okay, now I chalk out a wastrel here, and
Please
this
don't
is when I
make a
get stuck in
fuss.
the scenery. So they have gone down, and then I walk a little bit further forward, and now I'm stuck. So as you can see, everything I attempt doesn't get me out of this particular predicament. And I posted this on the Compulsion Games forum, and I was advised that I could have opened the console and ran, I think it was the ghost command, and then I would have been able to fly out of the situation, running the walk command to resume normal movement afterwards. Okay, so I saved and returned to the main menu, and then I started a new game because I wasn't doing too well in that playthrough anyway. And then we're going to show the next incidents of being stuck in the scenery here. Okay.
It's a
So
tale
I
told by an idiot
diffuse that
full of
situation with
sound
those
and fury,
wastrels and
signifying
carry on
nothing.
walking. Down here, turn to the right, through this grassy area.
I just have to get across the bridge and find Percy, and then everything will be
And
better.
then
I know
I
that
get
sounds
stuck.
crazy, but it's what I've got.
So to get out of this, I tried to actually deliberately provoke a wastrel by throwing a rock at them. Even that again was ineffective, but the opening the command line and using the ghost command would have been successful. But obviously I wasn't aware of this at the time I encountered these bugs. Okay, so no amount of sprinting or thrashing out to actually free me, as you can see. So now I equip the rock, I think this is the part. I equip the rock. Yep. And I throw it at the wastrel. As you can see, no reaction. So nothing I can do can cause anyone to attack me. No amount of provocation works. I've been aggressive, I've thrown rocks, I'm sprinting, all suspicious actions. And no results. So again, I quit.
Sometimes I wonder would I even recognise
And
him.
then I reload.
He'd be
the
almost
save.
28 now. Would he recognise me? Would he want to?
Okay, in this clip I sneak through the door where there's been a downer breach into the main town area with all the wellies. And I leave the door open, which was probably a mistake, and that causes some of the wastrels to run through, and obviously the wellies don't like that because that brings them down and makes them feel low. So the bobbies start fighting with the wastrels. And I rather foolishly stay and watch this encounter. The
Bananas.
first time I'd experienced it, I was rather
Yes.
bemused.
Bananas and porcupines.
And
Very
then I
pointy
try to blend
porcupines.
in by talking to a bobby, who then denounces me as a downer and causes me to receive, I guess, a jolly good thrashing. No. Yeah. Here we are, the panic spread. They've realised these wastrels have got into their area and there's been a downer breach. At the moment I'm in the clear, no one's really paying any attention to me, and I'm just stood there managing to rather peacefully watch the events. Now, okay, this
Lovely
is
day
a
for
moment of mistake. I say a lovely day for it to this bobby, and he therefore recognises me as a downer for some weird reason, which I don't think is quite right. I mean, maybe I wasn't panicked enough by the presence of a downer breach, but I don't know, that just strikes me as odd. Okay, so I run away quite quickly and eventually lose them. Managed to blend in successfully here, yep, that's right, so I'm back to normal. They don't know I'm a downer. And I'm walking along and I start to greet everybody again as normal to make sure I diffuse any situations that may occur. And then coming up shortly here, I come to the sort of play area with the rides, and this is where a second kind of bug or glitch occurs. Okay,
There you are.
it's coming up shortly.
Couldn't be better, thanks.
It's a lovely day, isn't it?
Lovely day for it. All right.
Lovely.
Should clear up soon, I imagine.
Are you new in this neighborhood?
Couldn't be better, thanks.
There you are.
How's your father?
Couldn't be better, thanks.
Welcome to today's edition of Humour Hour, the show where
Okay, here we are.
tell me jokes.
So I take a look around and then I walk up, and that obviously alerts the attention of the welly that's riding in the car.
There you are.
So I
Lovely
defuse
day
the
for it.
situation by waving to him
Couldn't be
and
better,
I
thanks.
climb in the
Should clear
car.
up soon, I imagine.
Now at this point, a yellow grid appears over the welly, which I think is kind of strange. It must be a bug or glitch of some kind. Okay, not that critical, not really game breaking in any way, just rather curious really. So I decide that I've had enough of that, and I go to observe the grid on his body a bit more closely.
How's your father?
So there we are. We've seen that, and that's the end of that one. Okay, in this segment I get identified as a downer when I was actively in the process of blending in. So we come down here and we start greeting wellies to pretend to be one of them and pretend to be happy and on joy. And I think it's the shorter woman screams he's a downer, and then that just alerts everybody else and I have to go running. But as you'll see, I pacified the situation, so
Lovely day
I
for it.
diffused it there, I talking to her, and then talked to this taller woman.
Couldn't be better, thanks.
There we go, and now she's denounced me with he's a downer, and I have to start running away.
Everything alright?
I'm not really sure why, considering the meter didn't have time to build up to the top. It didn't seem to follow the usual rules of gameplay. Then my running alerted that Bobby, and then things really start to fall apart from here, and I end up just taking the beating to the head of Bobby's truncheon, so it doesn't end well for me. Okay. Okay, so I think that's a bit of a glitch. That was behaving as expected. And then that's it. That's the end of that one. Back to the main menu. Okay, so this clip just shows a random crash. I'm not sure how helpful this will be to the development team at Compulsion, because these tend to happen, you know, at random moments. I'm not sure really it's anything that was done in the game, or whether this video will really help them fix the problem. I mean, I'm aware it's a pre-alpha, so these things are to be expected. But I figured I may as well include it, being as I was doing a video of bugs, glitches, crashes. So basically, I was just in the wastrel area, playing the game, just as normal, really. And I walk down a bit further along here, and then eventually the game crashes. The Windows dialogue informing me it's crashed shows up, and it's on the screen. I don't really know how helpful this video will be, as I've said, but it happened, so I thought I'd include it. Okay, there we go. It's crashed. The dialogue box is showing, and there we are. Done. Okay, a couple of glitches in this clip. The first one's kind of debatable. So the first one was detected too easily by a Bobby's. So I crept through the window into a Welly's house and stole their food and supplies. I wasn't seen doing that. But then when I came to leave, I made the mistake of leaving through the opposite window from the one I came in. And there was a Bobby sort of across the street who spotted me. I'm not surprised that it maybe, you know, would arise some suspicion, but he seemed to turn on me almost immediately. But, you know, that's probably debatable depending on, you know, the player's preference for difficulty. The second one definitely wasn't debatable. Once I'd been detected, I ran through the streets with them all shouting "Downer," and got onto the car toy ride that the Wellies use during the day. And it basically made me invulnerable to any attack. They were striking at me, but it wasn't having any effect. It wasn't taking any health off me. It wasn't making contact with the body of the player character. So that's really the two glitches in this particular segment. I'll talk more about them when they show up.
I just have to get across the bridge and find Percy, and then everything will be better. Oh, I know that sounds crazy, but it's what I've got.
Okay, so I climb through the window, and he's starting to get suspicious over there. And he's sort of onto me, and at this point it's fully broke out. He's caught me, he's realised I'm a downer, and I'm having to run through the streets. After being put down there by a Bobby and hit with his truncheons, I have to run through the streets, and the alert's gone out fully. So all the downers are now, all the wellies are now aware that I'm a downer. And I go to the play area, and I see that by climbing into the car, he gets one strike in before I manage it, but by climbing into the car, there's basically nothing they can do. They're striking away, shouting that they won't have it, but it's never come into contact with the player body, so it's basically like an invisible wall around you, really, protecting you from the battery. And they don't try and drag you out. They can't actually make contact with the body. Obviously there's no crafting system in a fight, which I learnt here, but there's no way they can actually make contact. Hitting me with frying pans and truncheons, and nothing's making contact with the body, and no damage to the health is being done. So I assume I could have stayed here forever and just watched them strike at me in futility, really. And so now I decide I've had enough of watching them, and I quit to the main menu even though it means losing my save. In this final segment, it's a unprovoked wastrel attack. So I'm just walking around in the area with the wastrels. I decide not to go through that joy detector because I know what the outcome will be. I've low on joy, so that's obviously not going to be successful. So I'll cut through this grassy area, and eventually along here somewhere a wastrel emerges with a branch, and as you can see I'm blending in, I'm not doing anything suspicious, I'm not running, but wastrel nonetheless emerges with a branch and decides to attack. That's rather surprising because there was absolutely no reason for it. There was nothing suspicious done there at all. No stealing, no punching, no running, no access to forbidden areas, and no failure to, no even opportunity to pacify them. So, you know, to defuse the situation in any way. Okay, so that's all. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Compulsion Games for creating We Happy Few and engaging so well with the community.